You're reading that right. I'm going through a little bit of burnout with about 50 subs. We all have that idea of wanting to emulate our favorite creator, if your Markiplier's, your PewDiePie's. We all say, man, I love when he does that Ole Jorgen thing. I just want to make my own. And you create a YouTube channel and you start uploading. And then everything gets worse. Everything got a lot worse, for me at least. Whenever I watch some good YouTube videos, I, like others, I get inspired and I want to create. I feel like that's a big thing that YouTube's brought people, but my execution's always been probably the worst part of what's gone on with the channel. So as I look back and I look at what I've made over the last 3-ish years, I look back and I'm kind of like, maybe this could have been executed a little better. It's just not what I would hope it to be. And needless to say, I've had other things, but I kind of want to just talk about maybe like a channel check-in and talk about what's going on, what's gone wrong with it so far, and see if I could kind of remedy it. But who am I? I played a lot of games in my time. I've played since I was probably 5 years old. My earliest memory is just playing Medal of Honor, Allied Assault, Spearhead, begging for some time on the family computer back when we had one, and it was a huge day when we got the second one. I'm the youngest of 3 boys, so I don't have that kind of, especially as a child, I didn't have that kind of say, you know, it's mom said I gotta use the computer now. That's pretty much how it went. So I was always very thankful to get my time on that PC. And Medal of Honor was one of the good games. I think we played Serious Sam as well. And I think we had like an N64 way back. But that game is one of the first ones I can think of where I was like, wow, this gaming thing's pretty cool. It was a place like that I first started seeing people meet other folks, and when I started hitting record on OBS, that's when I feel like it started really changing how I play games and how I thought about games. Because first it was just kind of like, oh, you play games, you should start recording. It seems simple, but it's a horrible way to execute. And it's what I did, and it really didn't work out for me. Uploading what you're playing is kind of like, it works for some people, but looking back, it's just kind of lazy, enjoyable to make. Looking back, it's not a good product that I put out. When I started making things and started saying like, yeah, I'm gonna see if I can do this thing. I'm gonna see if I can do this YouTube thing. That's whenever I started looking at games as kind of like a commodity. It's not like, oh man, this new game looks really fun. It's like, oh, what kind of video can I, like, what kind of idea can I execute on? And it just kind of, over time, it became oh, I can do this video, I can try this. And I ran into some problems. First being, I was trying stuff that I didn't enjoy, which is kind of like silly, the rule 1 of YouTube, like put what you like out. What I was doing is I was trying to get a lot of things out and make things kind of like get more traction out there, just trying to put stuff out. 2 problems: I wasn't enjoying what I was doing and I wasn't consistent with it, because I think it goes back to just not having passion for that kind of project. But I think it was a failure on my part to make some videos that I would enjoy watching. And I feel like over time, as I've, definitely had my fair share of YouTube, I see stuff that I'm like, oh, that's good. That's a good idea. And then something sprouts and I'll just write it down. I'll write down the idea, maybe keep it in a book. And over time, I've gotten tons of ideas and still they're not being executed on. And it's disappointing. It makes the whole idea of making a new video or executing that idea one of those games that makes it one of those games that you've kind of forgotten about, and you kind of put down for one day, and you come back 8 years later and say, what the hell was I even doing? When the one thing for me that happens for is just coming back to a game like Dark Souls, where I was spending 60-80 hours in there and I don't finish, but I come back and I'm like, man, this game was fun, but I look back and it doesn't mean anything anymore. Something that it's done for my current gaming, and it's really changed how I see some things. I've stopped playing so many things that I know that aren't going to be fun for me. I feel like that was a big one. It's just duh, play and make what you like. It's pretty simple, but I just haven't been doing it. And I think a lot of videos that I've put out, I think there were a handful or less than a handful that kind of fit that criteria of, carefully created and not just lazy upload content. And again, it works for some people, but in the idea of making something to get more traction and get out there, it's not going to work for me. I have so many ideas of things that I play every single year, but I have that issue of and maybe this is kind of like a review of what's gone on and what doesn't work for me. It's just I can't, a lot of times if I'm playing something, I'm going to be silent, I'm going to be focused, and it's not going to be as free flowing as if I was having a conversation with some people. again, it's difficult, but it's not something that I'm very good at. Another thing is like taking games less seriously. Like you can really try at something, but like again, if you're not taking like, or if you're taking it more serious, it's going to be more difficult to kind of have that entertaining aspect. Even like seeing a game is like something you have to get good at and not necessarily something that you play for relaxing. When I first started my YouTube channel, I was in school at the time for my master's, and I was also working a full-time job. And I said, you know what? Let's tack it on. Let's put another, I don't know, what do you put stuff into? What do you put stuff in? I don't know. Potato in a pot? That's relatable. But let's just try as many things as possible. Surely that won't be a stressful endeavor. And definitely I didn't lose my job, but I didn't fail out of school. But you can see what kind of got left behind when those things got more important. And I guess I was lucky because YouTube wasn't an income stream for me, but I will let it loose into the world that I did make $67 off of Twitch. So I feel like I'm of the 1%. That's something to be proud of. Again, with starting to see things as something to complete and not something to enjoy, there are researches that show whenever you have those mentally stimulating jobs or you have those mentally stimulating activities, it's more likely to leak over into your personal life where you take those more seriously. And I definitely resonate with that, where I try to get good at a lot of things and I still suck. I do. It's kind of like more noticeable that like I don't enjoy something unless it's like high octane, like something to become better at. And I'm definitely like a habit creature too. Like I still have like 3,500 hours in Counter-Strike. Like I've been playing for like 12 years. I still have the yearly WoW subscription that I tack onto. And I know I'm not the only one that does that, but I can definitely recognize that I'm a creature of habit where I definitely get that whenever it gets to be December, I download Return to Castle Wolfenstein and I play the whole game through. I've seen every corner of that game. I've seen most of the secrets, but I gotta have my yearly playthrough. And I think that that's something that I know that it hasn't completely died. Like gaming hasn't completely died for me yet. I know I'm old now, but it's still something that I can get back to and still enjoy. And something else to keep in mind is I can still talk to my dad about some of these games that we played as a kid, and he still says, man, I gotta play this. I gotta set that up one day. And his hands don't work and his legs don't work because you need legs to play games. He still has that passion. He still has those memories of when we used to all kind of connect through games. But especially with content creation, I think something that I could take back, and this is back to having a process, having a more set standard for making anything before shoving it out and not just lazily uploading recorded videos, not like the one we're watching now. Just having a set process. I feel like that's something to adopt with kind of a change in this channel specifically. Another thing is just uploading things that I enjoy. So like I used to play, I would try to record something and be semi-entertaining. Maybe I'd cut it out later. I'd have like 6 hours of gameplay over a few days. And I still have those now where they've not been touched since, but I would play those, get that recording and say, all right, cool, got it. And then I would go play 3 hours of Counter-Strike and not record it. I would go play like an hour and a half of League of Legends and not do anything. It seems kind of stupid how I would be like, oh man, this could be cool for someone else to watch. And then even myself, I'm like, oh, that's over with. Now back to what I like, back to the games I like to play. A lot of times, things that have gotten me to push myself a little bit more and even to making this video is seeing good content out there. There's a lot of good uploads that, you can't help but think like, man, it's stuff you relate to. It's stuff you can see yourself doing. And for me personally, it's just that one step of just executing where I never got to see, I guess, truly what I was made of. If you are like me and you're stuck, try to take some of these things in your next video. Have a goal for your video. So what do you want to try to tell people and what do you want to try to make people feel? Something that I wanted to make people feel with this video is kind of relating. This was a video to make sure that people knew how to make videos, knew that they should just start uploading, and I truly just wanted to get a project out that wasn't just a fresh upload. I wanted something that was a little bit more work, a little bit more thought into it. I think that one tip that I saw from one of the videos that I had watched in making this one is try to write your ideas down in bullet format, but reuse full sentences. It's kind of video essay-ish, but it's mostly so that you can get those muscles working. And once you start writing things down in complete sentences, it's really a big change just writing it down in bullets. I usually write mine in an iPad, and it's super easy because I have all my notes in the same spot. Try to have a timeline with the way that you structure your project. So I said that this one was going to take a week and I wasn't going to hold it past this week. And usually, like, if I get the urge I have, like, is I would upload something after working on it for like a solid day. So it'd be like probably a day of work, maybe 2 days of work. But this one, I try to space it out a little bit more, not to just burn myself out in that way, but also to make something that's less rushed and a little bit more polished, you know, take a little bit more time, but also know that there is a timeline for this. And something I wanted to do with this as well is I wanted to show a little bit of learning, because I feel like this is a good way to monitor the progress of the channel so far and kind of give a little reset as to what I'd like to be uploading versus what I've been uploading. I never expected to be kind of like affected by starting a YouTube channel, or like thinking that the way that I play games or think about games or think about my free time would be changed when I started a YouTube channel. But trying to find that, I don't know, trying to find the fun again is definitely something I'm trying to do right now, or trying to find out a better way to make things that I like. Something that I've definitely experienced is just whenever you see something creative inspires you, you need to create. I feel like that's something that I would always not execute on. I would always just write it down and then it would be a later thing. I think it needs to definitely be an idea put into the works and not just an idea. Something that I felt that helped me personally is putting OBS away. You know, I stopped recording every single minute of my gaming experience, and slowly over time I started to find stuff and naturally just gravitate towards things I enjoy. I've remembered that I love to play all of the classic games from the N64. I remembered that I love to play Counter-Strike, and I like really enjoyed that. And that doesn't need to be something that needs to be put online. And it's something more important to remember, that every minute can't be something that's worth putting out. You know, it's probably better to curate what you put out and not just put out a bunch of meaningless garbage, because you're not going to like it and not many people are going to want to watch it. So have you experienced any kind of burnout like this before, either through work or your own YouTube channel? What were some things that changed up your process and really made a difference in your work? Please let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.